call, baby.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live. PSR is excited to present to you Last Call, featuring your boy, the Pimp Slap POD, Mike M.
We are live, and you are here. Let's go, Billy Briggs. How you doing, Dutch? What up, brother? Dowster, what's up, brother? LJ from the HLJ.
Mike, man, happy to be here, man.
T on the ones and twos, -7.5, the official number we'll use, and the lines move 2 points. And this is not a show to be late for.
And now, let's get to the picks.
We be pumping! Puts a smile on my face watching that intro every single time. Gives me just that jolt I need to get fired up here to get going with Last Call. It is Last Call, Pub Sports Radio. Shout out to everybody dropping in here, rocking with us tonight. Going to be a good night here. It's a small card, tailored down, tight little card here. We've been having a pretty solid week. We want to keep it rolling, and it's important we don't give it all back. So coming off another 7-4 evening as well. And if you watch the live stream, the NFL Thursday night live stream, you'll see what we did out there. We kicked ass and we took names. We crushed the board. Nice job there. We got those New England Patriots in the first half. We got them in the full game. Gave out a little Zeke Elliott as well on the show. He gets that touchdown for us. And why wouldn't we stay cashing, baby? It's Friday. TGIFF. You are here. We are ready to rock. Shout out to everybody that's here, rocking and rolling with us here. We're just getting this thing launched. I know it's 6 p.m. Everyone's getting home. It's a Friday. We're in the holiday season, getting ready to do that shopping over the weekend, and it's here to put a little cash in your pockets and help ease the pain of some of those holiday bills that are coming up. So it's going to be a good show here. We've got a nice tight card, as I mentioned. We do have the jam. We've got the NHL. We've got a 3-game slate in the NHL. We've got kind of a dismal, college basketball slate here. I don't know where all the games are, but it's a Friday. We are now 4-1 in our last 5 college basketball games, so we will continue to rock with the college hoops. And then we got a nice NBA card as well, and a 13-game NBA card. Interesting card though. Nothing really. I don't know. I just felt like there was a lot of trap spots. So we're gonna go through the card that I have for you guys here, and we'll see if we can't find a way to get that cash. I was just taking the opportunity before the show started to drop in a little same game parlay. So it was a nice little spot for me here to kind of get this thing rolling. We have a couple player props out there tonight as well that we'll get into for you guys there. And do meet that solid. Jeff M says it. There he is. He says, hit that like button. And could not agree more. You guys were slacking yesterday on that like button there. We're all accountable. I'm accountable for the games and the record. You guys are accountable for that damn thumbs up button on YouTube. You know, we ask you to do 3 things when it comes to Last Call. First and foremost, hit that thumbs up button on YouTube. Second, grab a pen and paper, write down the action, not just from myself, but our glorious chat. Guys, continue to find winners out there in the chat. And then, of course, that third piece of action out there is to share your plays in that chat. Let's see what you guys have going on. 3 spot there. Hit that thumbs up, get a pen and paper, and share your plays in the chat. It's Friday. We're going to get rocking. We're going to get this ship off the harbor here momentarily. Shout out to everybody here in this chat showing up early, ready to rock. There's our guy, Dabby Cab. What up, homies? What up, Dabby? Dabby, mother effing Cab. It's not 8 minutes yet, Dabby. Otherwise, I give it to you. Dan Kelly. Hey, Mike, thanks for sharing. Dan Kelly, I appreciate you, man. Always great to see you out there in the chat. Ricky Levine says, what's cracking, Pimp Slap? Let's make some cash. Absolutely. We're going to get that cash tonight. And then Mel, Mike, easy cash last night with the best bet of the Abs team total under 3.5. Great look. You know, we did cash that under as well. So nice job, Mel. Great work out of you as always. And then Director 97 says, good evening, Pimp Slap. My money's on Army +14 versus Harvard tonight. RVD 420. Mike, great job on the NFL picks. Yeah, we had one of those nights. You know, NFL's unfortunately, as the season winds down, we're heating up, but we are heating up. So we'll take advantage and run with it. Ricky Bobby says, let's get it. And then Mel, tonight's best bet, the Oilers in regulation. I'm right there with you, Mel. I'm excited to talk about that game. Despite it being a 3-game card, you know, we're going to keep it tight. We're going to keep it right. And we're going to continue to build off of these bankrolls. So you guys know the deal here. We start this thing off, give everybody an opportunity to filter in, but we start with transparency, paramount in what we do here, making sure that you guys see what's happening, where we're winning, where we're losing. And we want to keep it 100 with you guys. So Jay Peasy's out there. What up, motherfuckers? Jay Peasy dropped on the live stream, hung out with Jay Peasy last night. I always enjoy spending time with my guy. And, we didn't get that Dallas under, JPZ, but you know what? We did get a lot of other things. So, it is what it is, but we move forward. It's a new day. I always hate to talk about yesterday because it's like, are we bragging? No, we're not. We're just keeping it real. We're keeping it transparent. I always like to kind of look, every day is a new day. But we do have to talk about what happened yesterday, the good, the bad, and the ugly. So Director 97 says, my money's on that Illinois-Chicago money line spot. And there's J Smooth 16. Money FM Mike. Let's do it, my guy. Let's go. Let's get it rolling, guys. Again, hit that thumbs up for us tonight. No slacking here. It's Friday. We're getting into the weekend. You guys want more plays? We got to get more thumbs up. It's going to be that simple here. But let's talk about yesterday's card. We took some shots. We took some spots. Some of them worked out. A couple did not. So we'll talk about that here. But we did cash out on that New England first half plus 3.5 spot. And JPZ, I don't want to forget that, man. Got that EuroLeague spot there with us today. And that was good money, my guys. So excellent looks from you. Fletcher Berry, what's good, big dog? What's good, Fletcher Berry? It's Friday, man. It's all good on Friday. We're going to get some cocktails later. We're going to have a lot of fun watching this card breakdown. And again, it's a big NBA night. I was thinking about that schedule with the NBA. Not sure how they do it. I mean, they didn't know who was going to be in the championship games, or did they? And when it comes down to it, the scheduling here where you've got everybody playing tonight, and then you've got that big championship spot, coming up there with the Lakers. I saw the trophy. I don't know if you guys saw what I posted on X this afternoon there, but it reminded me of the Mega Bowl. Shout out to our guys at Semi Pro there and finding a way to, the trophy's 12 feet tall. This cannon's going to shoot actual whatever. I mean, that was Will Ferrell at his finest there. And that's what it reminded me of when they showed the tractor trailer flatbedding down that giant fucking trophy. Where are you going to put something that big? I don't know. Is it weatherproof? Can it stay outdoors if one of these northern teams finds a way to win it one year? I don't know. But there's our guy, Justin, says Stacks POD, Steph Curry over 29.5 points at the plus 108 spot for our guy, Stacks POD, making that cash for us. And he likes Jacksonville State money line big on his card, he says, which is a game I don't know that I entirely got to that spot of things. Again, it was a weird card for me when it came to college hoops there. I don't know if it was just me. Is there no game starting after 7:00 tonight? I don't know. We'll cover that. But anyhow, let's get back to the breakdown. Let's digest this previous night, and we'll get ready to move forward here for today. Again, short card, so we'll get you guys out of here on time to get those bets placed and then circle back, and we'll find a live stream and see if we can't cash some live bets as well tonight. We did get that New England Patriots first half plus 3.5 was a excellent spot there for us. That was an easy casher as they marched down that field and scored right off the hop there in that New England Patriots game. Here's the spot that we took where I said, you know what, I'll live with it if it doesn't come in. We had the Valanciunas double-double parlayed with the Lakers at a plus 258 spot. Didn't get the job done, but the Lakers did get that job done, and they won comfortably and easily. So, 1-1 in that spot. We pushed it, but man, we had a shot for the glory, and we fell short. So, hey, no harm, no foul. We took the swing, and that's what it's all about. That's how we build big bankrolls, managing everything with just a unit play. So, we got the Toronto Maple Leafs. They got the job done for us at minus 125. Dallas under 6. Fucking scumbags. That's all I can say about that. And then I live bet it. I think I live bet it like twice too. And I was like, man, I don't know, fucking Dallas, whatever. Nashville Predators, though. Cashville, baby. We got there with Nashville last night. The Carolina, the ad. You guys wanted the ad, the last minute ad, and we took an L. So the last minute ad equals an L, it seems like for me. But that Colorado Avalanche game under 6.5. That was a nice casher. Shout out to our guy Mel, our person Mel in the chat there, giving us the under on the team total side for Colorado. The Arizona Coyotes, man, the Flyers, they can screw up anybody's streak. It don't matter. I said it before, they're too stupid to know they should be losing. And Torts has got them fired up, right? They got balls. They're putting them on the table, as he said. We did cash that New Jersey Devil spot. And then our lone spot in college hoops, the official play with Iowa State, got the job done for us as well. So again, a 7-4 day. We're up a healthy 26.5 units here. We're working on a 5+ unit week. And I'm hoping tonight we can find a way to capitalize on this card. It's a tight card, but I think we can find a way to continue to build this thing and push ourselves into the weekend with some glorious opportunities here. We did talk about that North Dakota State game in college hoops. Was a money line lean that I had out there. They got the job done for us. The over in Vancouver did not cash. that Carolina -1.5 with the +190 did not cash. And then the Ingram. Good thing I didn't just give the Ingram over 1.5 threes because he didn't get it done either. I don't think he got any. So, subpar day in the lean category. But hey, the official plays are what counts. That's what matters most. And that's how we got paid yesterday. So yesterday is just that. We're going to move forward and we're going to talk about how we're getting to the window today. There's our guy T-Pick says Edmonton first period. JPZ like Steph getting over 30 tonight. Philly Eagle Flyer. I love that name, man. That's one of my favorites. No, I might have to take that one from you if you're going to part ways with the YouTube anytime in the future. But there's Dabby Cab says Hardaway over 3.5 field goals +141 and 3-pointers. I was going to say, is that I was thinking, is there football going on tonight that I missed out on? No, we got the big Army Navy game this weekend, but not tonight. Tonight's a football-free slate. Really the first here, and it's going to be probably the last until we get through bowl season. So shout out to the guys. I know C-Mac and Babano will be launching their Monday first half college bowl season looks here, and I love that they're breaking it down into 2 segments because you got the first one where you look at this thing and you see, hey, we know who's going to kind of be in and out. The second half of December, though, some of these guys are going to be making that decision. Are they going to the transfer portal? Are they going to start to prep for the NFL and take that time off as well? So instead of just blasting out a whole bunch of games here to be the first to get there, it's about getting the right information and putting those tickets in everybody's pocket. So Dan Kelly, what they did was make the schedule with every team still have at least 1 game left with every other team in the conference. So the 8 teams that made it into the playoffs played 2 games that will be dropped. The other game, I got you. That makes sense. It was an interesting spot. I'm curious to see how it's going to finish out there. Yeah. Thanks, my guy, Philly Eagle Flyer. All right, so let's get going here. We got a tight card to work through for you guys. We're going to start off with hockey. I know you guys love that, so we will get the hockey games out of the way, and then we will jump into NBA and then cap it off with college basketball. So, let's talk about this college or this NHL card here to start the games off. We're going to look at, again, it's a 3-game card. The first game I'm looking at here is the St. Louis Blues and Columbus Blue Jackets spot. And I'm going to lay the juice with Columbus or with St. Louis. I don't want to mess around with trying this overtime factor and regulations. And, I would even think about the -1.5. We got 86% of the bets, 94% of the cash on the Blues. And I think that's rightfully so. We're seeing some slight upward tick on that Blues money line as well. So even though the Sharps are, pounding away on it, we are seeing that number. Normally we start to see them start taking the dogs, just like blind dogs, it seems like. And in this case here, they agree St. Louis is the play. We got Hoffer in net with St. Louis at 5-4. And then we got Jet fucking Greaves for Columbus. Is this what it comes down to? Now, I did look him up. I had to do a little research. Plays out of Cleveland Monsters, 22-year-old undrafted goalie for Columbus. And he's working on a 309 goals against average down there in the minors. But he's got a 93.9% start. The only other time he was able to start in the NHL. So when he did get the call up to the show, he made the most of it there. They lost, they lost that game, but he is sporting a 9-3 healthy record in the AHL. We talked about this yesterday. When these guys come up to the NHL, the bright lights and the speed and the pace of the game sometimes are too much. And then on the other side of things with Hoffer, 90.1 save percentage out here. His last performance, not the best. He had an 8-3 loss when he got out there against Nashville. Nashville's been running hot, and they really took it to him. He had a 73.3% save percentage, too. So it's not like they just weren't scoring. He was letting goals in at a rapid clip, and I like that they kind of left him out there to dry a little bit, too. So it's like, hey, you're going to play like shit. You're going to own it. So there you go. And I think it is a bounce-back spot for him here. On the flip side of things, St. Louis has lost 4 of their last 7. They don't rank very high when it comes to goals for either. So it's like one of those games where you got 2 teams that don't rank very high in goals for. You might as well throw the backups out there, change the rotation up a little bit, give this Cleveland Monsters guy another look here. Let's see if the Golden Jack Reeves can get the job done or not. But Columbus has lost 3 in a row. Their last loss, 7-3 last night to the New York Islanders. The Islanders are an under team. They play a trappy style game, and they got lit up and exposed 7-3. So at the end of the day, I got to rock and roll with St. Louis. When you're an away favorite and you're between that -110 and -160, your opponent's got their 3rd game in 4 days. That away favorite, the team that should win, lined at -110 to -160, 351 wins, 188 losses. It's an absolute fade spot for me when it comes to Columbus. Also, when your opponent's got no rest, which is the case here for Columbus Blue Jackets, the unrested dog there, 428 to 197 in favor of the favorite. Big spot there when it comes down to it. Also, I looked at that under, that 428 and 197 spot when your opponent's got no rest, totals greater than 5.5, has gone with 6 straight winners. The under's on a 10-2 run. So what kept me off of this under, though, as I was looking at it, was thinking, again, with Greaves, I'm not sure what we're going to see out of this guy, and he's definitely gotten lit up. We've seen Columbus has gotten lit up. We've seen St. Louis can go out there and get smoked as well. So I just want to go with St. Louis Blues. That's going to be, actually, that's my favorite card on the play tonight, or the favorite play on the card tonight. So all in for me on the St. Louis Blues spot. That's the first game we're going to get to the window with. Right off the hop for this thing here. Give me them St. Louis Blues. And I think it's a modest price there. In fact, let's see. It's starting to creep. Let me just do a quick bit of line shopping so that we are accountable. Let's move 5 cents, minus 145. Still like it. Not going to make a change for me by a nickel. I was already in at minus 140. Minus 145 just tells me that it's moving in the right direction for us. So game number 2 that we're going to talk about here for you guys tonight in the ice. We got the skates laced up. We're going to this Minnesota-Edmonton game. And this is an interesting one for me. When I looked at this one, I was kind of curious how it was going to play out, specifically because we know that this is the 2 new coaching factors, right? We talked about Hines yesterday with Minnesota. Minnesota is coming off of that second game here, back-to-back spot for them. And they've been playing well since they made that coaching change. On the flip side of things, the Edmonton Oilers have been playing well since they made that coaching change. And we know the big coaching change for the Oilers was bringing in Connor McDavid's junior hockey coach to go out there and kind of pave the way for him. So I went to the regulation on this spot here. I know Minnesota has been firing since they got that new coach out there and in play. But look, it's a back-to-back spot for them. They just got shut out. This is kind of that spot where I expect them to take that step back now. We're kind of seeing that, we're seeing what they are, right? It's kind of that thing when the tide rolls off the beach, you can see all the broken glass and stuff on the shoreline. And I think that's what we're seeing right now with Minnesota Wild. Yeah, they changed coaches. It wasn't because, they were killing it. And then they went on that little run, which we do see that temporary spark when they change coaches. I think the difference in the coaching change for the Edmonton Oilers at this point is that the team is just too good, right? They've been playing well. They've been playing well the last couple of years. There's certainly a West Coast favorite out there to get the job done. They needed a coaching change because they just weren't scoring. The message got distorted. They were tired of hearing from the guy, and they had to bring in this junior coach there, making his NHL debut as well. And they've really done well since then. They shut out Washington on the road. They beat Anaheim 8-2. They took down Vegas 5-4. They beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg 3-1. And then they just wailed on Carolina, winning out that game 6-1. So Edmonton is definitely moving in the right direction. I think that was a needed change. When you look at the goaltending as well, put another feather in the cap on the Edmonton side here, because they got Marc-Andre Fleury coming in net for Minnesota. 4-4-2 Marc-Andre Fleury. They've got Skinner coming out there for the Edmonton Oilers side of things at 9-7-1. 3-2-1 goals against average for Fleury, 88.4% save. Terrible. The guy's terrible. He's probably washed. He was probably washed when he left Pittsburgh to go to Las Vegas, but he did get it done, and then they traded him, and he's been just a journeyman now. He's just kind of plugging gaps and filling in holes. He played a little bit for Chicago Blackhawks. Now he's out there with Minnesota, and just not looking good at all. On the other side of things, though, Skinner, despite being an 88.9% save percentage, is making his 7th start in a row. He's looking for his 5th win in a row. And since the coaching change, he's been firing. He's 94.3% save percentage. Only 8 goals allowed in that streak as well. So he is definitely seeing the puck very well. The net has shrunk up behind him. And I expect that to be the case tonight. I like this regulation spot to keep the juice down. I contemplated, do I want to parlay Edmonton with the under in the Pittsburgh game? But I just don't know what's going to happen in that spot there. I just left that Pittsburgh game right off of the table. I don't want to mess with it. I'm not going to get involved with it. But when I did look at this thing here, opponents, again, with no rest, when the total's over 5.5, another spot like we talked about with that St. Louis game, are 428 and 197. Again, 6 winners in a row on that trend for us. I'm going the Edmonton Oilers in regulation. Just a lot happening, a lot of good happening for Edmonton. And I know Minnesota was able to kind of shake that losing streak with the coaching change, but not for me, not at the end of the day. I'm going in with the Edmonton Oilers in regulation. And I love seeing you guys with these plays out there in the chat there. Mike Wilkerson says Curry over points, rebounds, and assists. I like it. We're seeing all kinds of Curry action tonight. Big Scott 510. Mike, what you think about the game between Florida and Pittsburgh? All right, since you're going to ask me about it, I'll give you some thoughts just real quick here because we do have a shorter card. I'm not enamored with the goaltending matchups there. We do have Bobrovsky coming in net, on the Florida Panthers side of things. And then we do have Yari in there for the Pittsburgh Penguins. And the look that I had in this thing was the under. I just thought, low scoring game with these two goaltenders. But Florida Panthers have been finding a way to put pucks in nets. They just came off of a big win, with that Dallas Stars game 5-4. They lost to the Islanders 4-3. They beat the Habs in Montreal. This was that Canadian road trip. Remember, we talked about this yesterday. When they play up there in the East Coast, they get Ottawa, Toronto, Montreal. They handled Ottawa 5-0. They lost to Toronto, but it was a 2-1 game. And then they beat up on Montreal 5-1. So what it tells me is the Panthers beat up on the medium teams, the mediocre teams. And they find a way to struggle because they're just not all the right pieces in place there to get it done against the quality opponents. I don't think Pittsburgh is a quality opponent. Just look at their record here. 3-1 against Tampa Bay. This is that southern trip here. So when you get down there to play in the South, you'll either play Carolina, Tampa, Florida. Those Tampa, Florida spots tend to be back-to-back spots. They just lost to Tampa 3-1. They just lost to the Flyers on the road 2-1. They lost back-to-back spots to the Flyers. Too stupid to know they should be losing at 4-3. And then they did beat Tampa that game prior. So we knew that it was a revenge spot for Tampa. That's why we jumped on the Tampa Bay Lightning side of things. I just don't have a lot of confidence in those Penguins. Now, what led me to the under? You know what? We'll make it an official play. I'm going to go under with the 6.5. Now that you guys got me talking about it, 4 of their last 5 games have been under. The Panthers had those 3 games in Canada. They all went under. Those last 2 games against the Islanders and the Stars went over. Here we go. We got a last-minute ad. You guys know maybe that's a spot for you to fade. I'm going to rock it. I'm going to take this Florida Panthers under 6.5. Let me just line shop it. It wasn't going to be something that was going to make the card for me, but I see under 6.5 at minus 105. We'll take it. We'll rock it. That's going to be the case for me. Yari, whatever, Mark. You know what? Fuck him. How about that? Hopefully he saves the game tonight for us, and then we get big winners out of that guy. So, Yari, gotcha, Mega. Thanks for the enunciation there. I did it phonetically broken out for me, like a small child, because that's how I get it done. So, Big Scott says he likes the Edmonton, Florida parlay, and JPC's on the over. Yeah, JPC, fade me on that one. I'm going to take it though. It's going to make my card. I wasn't going to do it. But now I am going to do it. And that's how quick it happens. That's what happens with last call, live betting. We're going to get in there and start sweating later tonight on that one. But there you go. So we did add a little bonus spot. 4-2 for the Panthers. That's fine with me, Big Scott. That cashes that under 6.5. So we got a show ad that fast. That's how quick it happens. Let's keep it rolling. Let's move on to the next segment here. We're going to focus on. It's the NBA. We're going to jump into the association tonight. We got a bunch of plays. Not a huge clip when it comes to the NBA. I know it's a big card, but I just couldn't get there with some of these later games, and we'll kind of talk high level about them. But the first game that I'm looking at here is this. I'm looking at the Pistons Magic game, right? Here we go. Let's start it out. We got the 13 is where this number opened at for the Pistons, plus 13. Has dropped to plus 11, and it's moving down with the 10.5. So 41% of the bets, 63% of the cash on the Pistons. And the line's reacting accordingly. We're seeing a 2-point movement. As far as the total, though, 228.5, some uptick. It depends on where you're going to go with this thing here. 228.5 is still out there. There are 229.5s, though. And when you look at it, 80% of the bets and 62% of the cash on the over. So the bigger money saying that it should be an over spot, but we're not necessarily seeing the books reflect and react overly aggressively in the spot. And when I broke it down and I started looking at it, the way that I ended up with this under is I looked at it and said, first of all, we have a tremendous spot for the over when you've got a team that was the favorite in the first half, and the first half goes over the total by 4 points or more, 13-6 in the over on that spot there. The average number that we're seeing is 237.5. But as of late, the last 10 game samples over 246 in terms of points. So I looked at this one and kind of compared the old value comparison. We have an 18-point advantage to our side here when you look at it and seeing that they blew that first half. The Magic did. And, I think I was on the under for that first half, under 115. I think it ended at like 116 or 117. But the Magic didn't get the job done. So what it tells me is they come back and they fire. The Magic are on 5 overs in a row. Detroit also allows the most points to position. I think there's an opportunity for a lot of scoring for the point guard spot there for the Magic. And I think it's a buy low opportunity on this total, despite talking about that average being a 246 number for the run in the last 10 games. Detroit is off of back-to-back unders, and they're at home home unders, right? So back-to-back home unders. When I looked at this thing on the Orlando side of things, I looked at the Orlando team total. I gave it a good hard look, thinking, do I want to back Washington to get the job done? But what we are seeing is Charlotte, they're averaging around 130 points on their side of the equation. So their team total at 120.5 feels like that's around the right number. What are we going to see? We're going to need to see that the Detroit Pistons can push the pace a little bit. Charlotte, in their last 5 games, they let up 121, 129, 125, 120, and 117. The Detroit team total is over. It's 108.5. It's juiced to the over. And so when you put the two together, you got the 120.5 for Orlando. You got the 108.5 for Detroit. Makes sense that we got 228.5. That's going to be 229. That's going to push that over. But then again, you look at it and say, well, what if Orlando falls a little short? Doesn't matter. They don't play defense. They're letting teams put up $120 on them plus. And I think that's what we need here tonight for Detroit. I wouldn't be mad at anybody that wanted to consider that Detroit team total over. I know how bad Detroit's been, but I don't care. I think this is just a spot where we're going to buy on those points. Buy on that opportunity here for the 228.5. So I like it. That's going to be the first play that we lock down for the NBA card tonight. And again, it's a trim card, so we'll get into it. Cheshire Cat. I'm not sure what you're saying out there, my guy. Dan Kelly, I can, but I'm not fast. Go find someone who's good at it. Joseph Thompson's got to play for us here. I know he does. Of course he does. What's up, Mike M? My NCAA basketball top model, total cash last night again. I had it written down, man. I was there with you. I saw it. I watched it. I congratulate you again on another winner. And we have a winner here in the chat for us tonight. He says, tonight's top model total play, Stonehill Rider over 145, 7.5 points of value. When Joseph Thompson puts it in the chat, you guys need to write that down. That's part of that. Get that pen and paper out there and make it happen for our guy. So, over 145 in that Stonehill Rider matchup. That might be a nice little spot there to get that cash. Dan Kelly says, here's an NBA same game parlay. He likes the Embiid over 29.5 points, over 9.5 rebounds, over 6.5 assists. The Sixers -3 is a plus 245 spot. Loves the correlation. If Embiid plays well, the Sixers should win. And if he hits one prop, he should get all 3. I agree. I like that look a lot, Dan Kelly. Appreciate you sharing that for us. Let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about this next game for you guys. I'm looking at this Toronto Raptors, Charlotte Hornets spot. The Raptors open at -2.5 point favorites. They shoot up to -5. We got 71% of the bet, 78% of the cash on that Toronto Raptors side of things. And the line moved accordingly. Now there's 5.5s out there. The total's at 220.5, now 222.5, 61% of the bets, 35% of the cash on the over. Bigger bets coming in saying this is going to be a tightly scored game or a tighter game than what's expected there. The sharper money, the bigger bets look like they're pushing that under. But 2 points of movement there suggest that maybe that's not the case. Maybe the public's going to get this one right. And as I broke this game down, I first of all, just took it in the chin yesterday or the other day with the Toronto Raptors, right? We got them with the Knicks. They gave us a nice payday when they were on the road. They lost to the Knicks and we cashed. Then they came back home and they really kind of struggled, right? Outright there. They lost to the Heat. Just not a good spot for them. Now we know what's going on when you look at the Hornets, right? The LaMelo Ball factor is definitely an issue for them. The Raptors have won and covered each of their last 5 meetings in Charlotte, but I think it's one of those spots here where I don't want to put 5.5 points down on Toronto. I don't trust them to get the job done. I just think at the end of the day, they lost each of their last 5 games as road favorites after a home loss. So when you would suggest that they bounce back, they just don't. Wouldn't even surprise me to see the Charlotte Hornets win this game outright. The Raptors failed to cover the spread in 7 of their last games that they've gone down after a home loss to Charlotte. So Raptors not covering when they go on the road to the Spectrum Center, home of the Hornets. Flip side of things, the Hornets haven't done great against the Atlantic Division. This isn't a great play. This isn't a sexy opportunity. This is just to plug your nose, take the 5.5 points, and at the end of the day, you're probably going to see the Raptors end up losing this game. And if they win, it's going to be by like a bucket, right? It's going to be like 2 points. Not a big fan of taking an opportunity like that. I certainly don't want to lay points at the Raptors as a road favorite in a barn that they just can't find a way to win at. That's not going to be how I roll with this thing. I am taking that Hornets plus 5.5. Let's keep it moving. Next game we're going to talk about for you guys. Here's kind of another one. It's not the sexiest card for me, but it comes down to the points, and I want these points. We'll talk a little bit about it. We're going to look at this Wizards game, the Wizards versus the Nets. The Wizards open at 9.5, stays at 9.5. We got 60% of the bets and 59% of the cash on the Wizards. Not seeing a lot of line movement. That's kind of a little bit concerning. The plus 9.5 of plus 105 is out there. I'm sorry, minus 105. But the total is jumping here. We see that this thing opened at 237.5, which is a pretty lofty total to begin with, right? What that tells me is they're suggesting points. They're going to see a lot of points. The books are suggesting this is going to be a score fest. And when we see score fest, I like to get an opportunity to jump on those dogs to keep pace with it. 61% of the bets and 92% of the cash on the over. It's moved from 237.5 to 239.5. We look at the money line. Bigger bets are coming in on this Wizards money line. I don't think the Wizards are going to come out here and get the job done when it comes to the money line, but a couple of spots for you. Home favorites when their opponent scored 110 to 120 the previous game are 10 and 25. We covered that one. We cashed that one in that trend as well. So again, home favorites when their opponent's putting balls in the net, in the basket, are finding a way to lose in those favorite spots at 10 and 25. I don't think it's a case of being too many points. I know the Wizards are 0-7 when they covered their last two games, but they are covering. So at this point, I'm going to take a team that's finding a way to get the job done. They're getting almost double digits at a low price. And when it comes down to it for me, the Brooklyn Nets have won 5 straight games against the Wizards, and they're 4-0-1. Brooklyn Nets have been one of those highest paced cashing teams in the NBA. They're 15-4-1 against the spread in the NBA. But I don't think that's a sustainable pace here. I'm going to turn the plane right into the storm. I'm going to take an opportunity to grab these 9.5 points. It's a 3-17 Wizards team. Probably not even game. You know what? This might be a game that I end up having on TV. Just again, not a lot of fun around, taking a stinky team like the Wizards. But hey, they covered against the Sixers. Big deal in their own barn. They covered against Orlando. After getting blown out by Orlando. So they were able to rebound. They whooped up on Detroit, as everybody should. And, they played a score fest there with the Atlanta Hawks. So give me a team that's finding the basket. Also, I like Tyus Jones over 1.5 threes. That's a plus money spot. It's a lean for me on the card. But again, it's one of those top 10 matchups. Anytime I can try to segregate or separate those top 10 matchups, I want to share those with you guys where it makes sense. And Jones over 1.5 threes at plus money in a spot where Brooklyn's allowing the most 3-pointers to that position overall means it's a really great opportunity, I think, for that plus 112 spot out there. Make sure you line shop it. Just a lean for me. Nothing I got there officially with, but I'm all about this plus 9.5 spot. And what time's the game start? Is it a 7 o'clock or is it a 7:30 start? It's a 7:30 start. So we might even see a little bit of half a tick of movement in the right direction for us. Dan Kelly says, has Stonehill Rider 144 to the over. There we go. Our guys are on the over in that Stonehill Rider game. And then I see he says others have 145.5. Winners shop for the best lines. Man, you got to shop for lines out there, especially because in a game like that, it could come down to 1 point. You got to take advantage of those opportunities where they are. JPZ says, yeah, but some can't use DraftKings or any other legal books. Hey, there's still a bunch of offshores that can give you those numbers. You just got to see them, right? There's a lot of opportunity to build those things up. You guys know all about that. Let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about this next game we're going to get into here. We're going to look at this Bulls game. I got a couple plays for you guys on this Bulls game here. First of all, in terms of the NBA, this Bulls spot is my favorite spot on the card. I love this -2 spot. Before I talked about the dumpster fire that was the Chicago Bulls, we know the Levine factor, the permission from the agents or from the team to have the agents go out there and seek a trade, but nobody really seems to want them. So the Bulls open at -2. Here's what I like about this number. It's sitting at -2, even though 47% of the bets and 70% of the cash are on the San Antonio Spurs, and we're really not moving. If anything, they're making it more attractive to jump on those Spurs. I even looked at the money line in this thing, but at a -126, 72% of the bets, the public's hammering that money line, but 33% of the cash on that Chicago Bull spot for me. Just kind of said, you know what, I'm going to take the points. I'm going to buy it down a little bit to get that ROI by paying those points. Lay that 2 out there. It opened at 226. The total is 224.5. 73% of the bets, now 66% of the cash on the over, but we're seeing the line dropping. And that's certainly not that recipe you want for success out there. We know that they were laughing stocks in those Chicago Bulls. We know the Lonzo Ball, the Zach LaVine factors are big deals out there. But, what we're seeing is DeMar DeRozan, Vucevic are stepping up. Vuce is getting the job done for him. And look, the Spurs are on a 14-game losing streak. You want to go out there and back a team on a 14-game losing streak? I don't think so. I think what's happening here is you got a young team that makes a lot of mistakes. They're very turnover prone in San Antonio. On the flip side of things with the Chicago Bulls, You got a team that's short in the bench. They're all getting minutes. There's no rivalry going on around who's going to get those minutes or what's going to happen out there. And I like the Bulls at -2. Now I'm going to ladder this thing here, and I'm going to share with you guys how I'm going to ladder this. I got the Kobe White 20 plus points at +100. Now, that's going to be a spot where I'll drop a full unit on it. We'll go official with that one too. We'll make that an official play. The two spots that I wanted to talk to you guys about, though, as well in this ladder challenge here. We talked the other day about his minute usage going up. I want to say it was C-Mac that talked to us about his minute usage going up. He's averaging over 26 minutes now on the floor. And with the floor time comes the points. The 25 plus points in this ladder for me at +280 is something that I'm going to go with just a half a unit on for the 25 plus at +280. So it's the first time you'll hear me talk about a half a unit. I'm a firm believer of the 1 unit spots, but I also want to make sure that we manage this bankroll appropriately. So a lean to me is the half a unit for the 25 plus points at +280, because you're still going to win. If he does get that 25 or more points, you're still going to capture over a unit on that thing. And then the 30 plus here to complete the ladder challenge. 30 plus is a lofty number for this guy, but at +750, I'll pop a quarter unit on that thing as well, because if he ends up popping through there with that spot there, we're almost at 2 units on a quarter unit play for White to get 30 plus. And I think we insure ourselves appropriately when it comes to managing that ladder. So it'd be a full unit, a half unit, and then a quarter unit for the moon, if you will, with that 30 plus points. And hey, maybe he gets 25 plus. We still make a couple of units with that Bulls covering that -2 spot out there. As long as he doesn't come out there and have a shitter of a game. And I think the line suggests he's not going to have that shitter of a game. His number is 18.5 right now. So you can get the 18.5 at -113. But I want to keep it at even money. I mean, 1 bucket to get that 20 for us there. I know the other night he got 19, but look, he's getting more time. There's a great opportunity, I think, for the Chicago Bulls. I'm going to take that little ladder challenge there. 1 full official unit for me on the White 20 plus points at even money on FanDuel. 25 plus would be a half a unit lean, and then a quarter unit lean for the +750 at 30 plus points. There you go. That's a big prop opportunity for me tonight. I like it. There's Kelly B. So she's a little late. It's okay, Kelly. We're here. We're going to make it happen. You know the deal. And she likes the Siakam points, rebounds, and assists over number for Pascal Siakam. I think it's a big game for him, but I'm not going to get so confident about those Toronto Raptors there. Dan Kelly says, so the Bulls have gotten a lot better without Levine. Why would any team want him? Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking, right? It kind of backfired. Like, you want to talk about betting on yourself, and he was probably got a bad attitude and a sour puss in the locker room too. So Kelly B says Bulls lost 4 of 5 in San Antonio. Spurs 0-15, but think they get a straight up win. Mikey M, we on different sides here. Hey, that's fine. Hey, we can be on different sides. That's part of how this whole thing works. It'll be a fun little thing to root for on the side. Now, clearly, Kelly, I'm going to have to root for you to lose that one. So we'll move forward, though. JPZ says team's getting better without Harden, and he keeps finding a home. Yeah, that's it's Harden too, though. I mean, Levine doesn't strike to me as the same name as Harden, but I don't disagree with that, JPZ. That's a lot to be said for that too. The Clippers think they got the answer with this guy, and he ain't no AI. So let's keep it rolling. Let's talk about this next game. Next game on the card for us. I had this as an official play, and I kind of backpedaled on it a little bit. So just kind of hear my rationale with this thing. So we got the numbers. Let me pull this game up. -1.5, 81% of the bets and 86% of the cash on the Sacramento Kings. The line opened at -1.5. We're seeing 2s, and now some 2.5s are starting to peek into this equation. The total opened at 225.5. This thing skyrocketed. It's up 10 points, 41% of the bets and 82% of the cash on the over, and it's moved up 10 points. Big movement out there. But at the end of the day, I kind of looked at this thing, and I thought about this game the other day. The Suns, they get their players in. They don't find a way to get the job done. They come off of just some disappointment after disappointment. The Kings are a battle-prone team here. We know the Kings battle well against the Suns particularly. But that was that BS loss with the foul time call there, or the timeout called with like 4 seconds left in that Lakers game. And they lost. They were a +2. They lost by 3. They did take down Memphis, but they didn't cover the spread. And where I'm getting at with this thing here, you look at this Denver Nuggets spot there. They lost 119-111. They were getting 1 point on the Nuggets side of things. They're only getting 1 point for the Nuggets, and they lose that game. On the flip side, they're getting 2 points now against the Kings. This is kind of a suspect line, but what I was thinking about here is you've got teams when they're coming off of a game with 18 or more turnovers that are now the home team are 30-33, 39-24 to the over, but the over is only averaging around 227 points. So as much as we're seeing 235 now, despite that being a nice win percentage, I did not want to get there when it comes to the over. When it comes to the side itself with the Kings -2, I don't like that number's not moving. I wouldn't be surprised to see the Suns cover this 2.5, probably win this game outright. But at the end of the day, I don't want to just I don't just want to flip a coin and hope that it comes in for us there. There'll probably be some live betting spots that I take advantage of. We'll start looking for some of those as the night moves on. But I just couldn't get there. It's not a spot that I wanted to really make an official play on the card. Should they get it done? Yeah, but the Kings get the job done too. So I'm gonna make that a lean spot for us here, and we're gonna move on forward to Ricky Bobby says Booker triple double. Yeah, you know what? Opportunity to shine with no KD and no Allen. Yeah, we see Tony Trill. If the Suns win, Booker goes off 30 plus and carries. Booker likes to be in the spotlight. When there's nobody on the court, he loves having that ball in his hand and getting away to get the job done. So can't be mad at that. Certainly don't disagree with anybody that's looking at that thing. I just didn't want to. At the end of the day, the Kings have won 10 of their last 11 following a home loss. The Kings should win. Should it be more than 2 points? Probably. Do I like the 2.5? Not enough to make it an official play. I'll tell you, there's another spot that I did like, though. Not that's anything on the card here tonight, but looking at this Portland Mavericks game, I was kind of leaning to this Luka triple-double. He's got it in back-to-back games. It's around a plus 300 number. It might have moved here in recent spots, but it's a great top 10 challenge match for him as well. Nothing I pulled the trigger on officially yet because kind of leaning to the under. Portland is a home dog, 28-41 to the under. They're 23-48 against the spread as a home dog. They're just not good as a home dog. I looked at that Portland team total under 111.5 as well, but I like that opportunity to get like a 3-to-1 return on my money for the Luka triple-double. So that's going to be something that I really think strong and hard about. Let's talk about this last game on the card for you guys here. Again, short slate for me, ripping through the NBA. Here's the game we're all talking about here. It's Stonehill and Ryder. And I see a lot of guys looking at that over 144.5 to 145s here. Again, we're 4-1 in our last 5 college basketball games. And I really want to get that record moving in the right direction. So I had to be super selective. I see really everything starts at 7 p.m. and that's it. Ryder opens at -8. Ryder moves to -9.5. 74% of the bets, 72% of the cash on Ryder. And it's moving in the right direction. Shout out to our guy, Pete Loshak. I keep thinking about that song, Riders on the Storm. They can cover 4. I don't remember how the rest of it goes, but they're going to be laying a lot more than 4 in this game. And I think it makes sense. When you look at this thing, what I looked at first and foremost is when you've got a home team that's coming off a loss and they're laying 5 points or more, they're 91-77 against the spread. So there's a big opportunity for Ryder where they're coming in saying they should get this job done. And it's kind of one of those suspect numbers, right? When you look at Ryder's record on the season, 1-7, Stonehill's record 1-9. How come they're laying 10 points? It's crazy. And I think the public's going to have that overreaction and say, give me those 10 points. There's no way they cover this thing. They're 1-7. But when you look at Stonehill, they were getting 10.5 points against Stony Brook. They lost. They lost to Binghamton. They lost to Massachusetts Lowell. And then they lost to, Quinnipiac. And Texas A&M Corpus Christi. You're losing to Texas A&M CC, and you're getting beat down by double digits. You're not a good team. Flip side of things, Ryder's not doing much better. We already talked about their record. They lost to Fairmount. They lost to Siena. They lost to Maryland. That was a big step up in competition for them. They got trounced, but the fact is they were trying to step up in competition. They also got a step-up spot against Duquesne. So 77-58 loss. But I think the underlying story is they're willing to go out there and give themselves a try. Stonehill's got some real issues going into this game. They looked terrible that last game. They scored 63 points. Their defense gave up 81 points. I think there's going to be some points flying in this game. I love your guys' looks on those overs. On the other side of things, though, for me, I know that Ryder's defense struggled in their most recent kind of at-bats here, right? They let up a ton to a Fairfield team, but they can score. They're not a bad three-point shooting team. They can get the job done out there as well. So I think at the end of the day, when you get a team that can shoot, not the greatest of matchups. Stonehill's offense ranks 340th in college basketball. Ryder's offense ranks 287th in college basketball. Defense for them, no better, ranking 306 overall. But again, I think they're a pretty decent spot when it comes to the three-point shooting opportunities. And that's how the score gets rung up on these guys a little bit. So I know there's some bigger cash coming in on the unders, but I like this thing being a score fest. I like your guys' looks when it comes to that total. I'm going to jump in on that Ryder -9.5. And let me just line shop, make sure that's still the number that's out there. It is. It's -9.5. We're starting to see 10s and 10.5. So if you're thinking about that rider spot here, it's going to start in 15 minutes. You got a couple more minutes to give that thing a click and get it done. So we got a big show that finished off here nice and early today for everybody. Again, I appreciate everybody dropping in here. Our guy Dan Kelly says ridiculous. Cheshire Cat making some comments in the chat. I see Man Bear Pig. Anyone on Furman football tonight? Yeah, there is FCS. I guess I neglected to roll the sleeves up, and I was greedy. I was selfish. I spent some time in the yard and did not cap FCS. So I'm sure there's some guys out there that have it. I'm just not one of them tonight. So yeah, previous years I was big into the FCS, but not so much this year. It's been something I've kind of slacked on. So Justin McElvey says Booker definitely going to go crazy tonight. Big Scott 510, no KD. Booker shows up. Yeah, that seems to be the consensus. Maybe it's a parlay, triple double. Luka triple double Booker parlay. I'm not sure. We'll have to see what that pays out as the night moves on there. But that's going to do it for us, guys. 115 deep. I'll give you guys one last recap for the card. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button. That's really all we ask. That and write down these plays. St. Louis Blues, we're going to go with that -145. The Edmonton regulation -135. We did add the Pittsburgh under 6.5 spot out there. 3 hockey plays for us. Of course, we've been pairing up the ice. A couple of NBA looks as well. We're going to go with that Magic over 228.5. The Hornets +5.5. The Wizards +9.5. We have the ladder play as well for Kobe White. We're going to go with the Bulls -2. We got White 20+ points and even money official plays. Then half unit sprinkles on the White 25+ at +280. White 30+ at +750. Hoping that boy goes off tonight. I was leaning to that Suns +2.5, and then I pulled the trigger officially on this rider -9.5. You guys, that's it. TGIF. Hope you guys all have a great cash-in weekend. Do us that solid. Hit the thumbs up if you haven't done so already. Become a member at Pub Sports Radio. It's $4.99 a month. Cost you nothing. Helps us a ton. And it means a lot for us to be able to reinvest in the infrastructure, bringing you guys more shows. I know there's going to be a great show coming up with Jeff Nadeau on Saturdays for College Hoops, giving you guys a live show on a Saturday, breaking down a huge card. And I've followed Jeff Nadeau for a long time. I know he's a great college basketball capper. So we'll continue to find ways to get that cash and make that money. Shout out to everybody that rocked in here tonight with us, guys. I hope you get to that window. And shout out to my guy T from another great week on the 1s and 2s, holding it down for us, keeping it tight and right. Everybody get out there, get that cash, and have themselves a Victory Friday. Let's go, baby. We be pumping.